Hello, my name is Mike, and today I am presenting the basics of supply and demand. So, what is supply and demand? Supply is defined as the amount of a commodity, product, or service available, while demand is just the desires of buyers for that certain product, commodity, or service. So, the law of supply is defined as if a price goes down, the supply goes up, and this can be flipped, goes to a different way. And in this scenario, we have corn crops are very plentiful over the course of the year. So that means we have a very high supply. And there's more corn than people would normally buy. To get rid of the excess supply, farmers need to lower the price of corn, and thus the price is driven down for everyone. Here we have a high amount of supply, and then in order to get rid of the supply, the excess supply, the farmers will drop the prices. So this correlates with the law of supply. And then the law of demand is if the price goes up, the demand goes down. So here we have a popular artist died, and thus he obviously will be producing no more art. Demand for his art increases substantially as people want to purchase the few pieces that exists. So here, the price is up because the few pieces that exist is very rare, and then we also have the demand increases. So the law of demand here it says as price goes up, the demand goes up. So why does supply and demand matter? Supply and demand matter because it is in our investments. So if we're investing in a real estate property, we'll have to consider the fact if the demand for real estate will be high in the next 10, 15 years, and if the demand will be lower, because if demand is lower, the investment is not necessarily a safe investment if the supply is high as well. And then we have personal finance because this affects our budgeting. And if a certain supply were to decrease, supply of a product that you use consistently, and if that decreases while the demand increases, the price for that good will increase as well. So you'll have to shift your budget around as well. This also affects our career choice. If we're thinking about doing something that will have a very high demand in the future, that will make you money. That will give you job security, not necessarily money, but it will give you job security. And then if the supply is low as well, then that means you can play around with your salary and you can demand for a higher salary because there's a low number of employees that can do the same job as you do. So another reason supply and demand matter is because we can have a basic understanding of why each price goes up or decreases. So what does the supply and demand graph look like? Here we have an equilibrium point, and supply doesn't necessarily have to go in a increase at a linear rate. It can be a curve as well. And but supply is always the positive slope while demand is at the negative slope. Here we have the price at the y-axis and then quantity at the x-axis. So we have an equilibrium point. So at this point, when the supply meets the demand, the quantity meets with the price, and this is how much it costs for a certain number of quantity.